Looks really don't matter when you're in a relationship. If you're really in love with a person, you won't care what they look like. I understand not wanting to be with someone totally horribly hideous, but if two people just look average and they're in love, then it really doesn't matter. When it comes right down to what matters in a relationship, looks just isn't in the equation. In long-distance relationships, things get a little bit more difficult. People get lonely. But that doesn't mean that the feelings aren't real. My grandfather was in the army, fought in World War II. His best friend, Bubba, and I'm not kidding, that was his best friend's name, decided that Charlie was really lonely. Charlie was my grandfather's name. And decided to introduce Charlie to his little sister Margie. Well, of course, they're overseas, they can't exactly meet face to face. So what Charlie did was wrote a letter to Margie, just talking. Margie decided she would write back, just to be polite, because that's just a nice, polite thing to do. You don't just leave a guy hanging like that. Neither of them knew what the other one was like. They became pen pals and wrote back and forth for over a year and a half. Finally, Charlie got to go home, and they actually didn't know, but they lived within 100 miles of each other. So Charlie came home. First thing he did was go to see Margie. Margie was a small town beauty. She was stunning back in her day. Charlie was a little bit below average on the looks, but neither of them really cared. They were in love. They got to know each other very, very well through the letters that they wrote each other. I feel that they wouldn't have gotten to know each other if they had met face to face, because Charlie would never have tried with her. She was so beautiful, and he wasn't. And usually when that happens, people, won't try. If they say, oh, well, that person is so beautiful, but since I'm not that amazing, I won't even try. It's probably a good thing that they didn't get to know what each other looked like. Eventually they got married and adopted my father from Charlie's little sister. And way along down the line I came along. Nowadays we don't really have pen pals. We have chat rooms and social websites that people get to meet each other instead. They meet every day. Millions of people meet each other online, and they fall in love, they fall out of love. But nowhere in there does it really matter what they look like. Sadly, the Charlie and Margie tale doesn't have a very happy ending. After about 20 years of marriage, Charlie got an aneurysm, and it changed his personality so much. They got a divorce because he wasn't the same man that wrote that simple letter so long ago. The point of all this, long-distance relationships are really nothing new. Cyber relationships are just pen pal relationships, brand new. It's just a really quick way, faster way. Look back in history and you see many, many, many stories of people falling in love from great distances. I'm pretty sure that somewhere along the lines in the Crusades there was some man that fell in love with a woman through a letter. There was some man out there that fell in love with a woman but couldn't stay there with her. But he stayed there emotionally. Don't you think somewhere along the line that a man had to leave his woman at home to fight for what he thought was justice? You think somewhere along the line someone would send letters to his love and tell her how much he loved her. Aren't those considered long-distance relationships? I wonder who it was that said, "Love knows no boundaries." I tried looking this up earlier. Who's to say that two people that have never met cannot fall in love? Who says that people immediately have to classify themselves as being in love or just liking each other? Why can't there be, "I more than like you but less than love you"? Isn't this, "I care about you"? I guess that's what I've been trying to say this whole time. I don't love you yet, but I do care about you very, very, very much.